first to our other top story, which is that Donald Trump's hush money trial begins today in New York. Jury selection will begin just hours from now, and it'll be an unprecedented scene. Never before in American history has a current or former president faced a criminal trial. CNN's Brian Todd gives us a closer look at how this historic case came together.
It wasn't until almost 12 years after the affair allegedly occurred that the world first learned of the allegations of hush money payments to Stormy Daniels. In January 2018, the Wall Street Journal reported that in the weeks before the 2016 election, Donald Trump had arranged a $130,000 payment to the adult film star to keep her from publicly discussing their alleged 2006 encounter. Later, former Trump attorney Michael Cohen testified that Trump directed him to make payments to Daniels, quote, for the principal purpose of influencing the election, and that Trump later reimbursed him. Cohen served jail time for campaign finance violations related to the hush money payments and gave jarring testimony to Congress.
I am ashamed that I chose to take part in concealing Mr. Trump's illicit acts rather than listening to my own conscience.
Donald Trump has always denied having an affair with Stormy Daniels. In April 2018, Trump was asked by reporters about hush money.
Did you know about the $130,000 payment to Stormy Daniels?
No. But later in 2018, in an ethics filing, Trump acknowledged reimbursing Michael Cohen for more than $100,000, but didn't say what it was for. Daniels spoke to Anderson Cooper in a CBS interview about the alleged payment.
Was it hush money to stay silent?
Yes. I believe without a shadow of a doubt in my heart, and some people argue that I don't have one of those, but whatever, that I was doing the right thing.
That same year, the New Yorker magazine detailed reports that Trump had had an affair with former Playboy model Karen McDougal. She spoke to Anderson Cooper about it.
The only regret I have about the relationship that I had with Donald was the fact that he was married.
The Wall Street Journal reported 4 days before the 2016 election that the publisher of the National Enquirer tabloid had paid McDougal $150,000 for the rights to her story shortly after Trump became the Republican nominee for president, but that the Enquirer never published the story.
Catch and kill, that is, pay someone and then kill a story that would be damaging to Donald.
I knew the story wasn't going to be printed. They didn't want to hurt him.
Trump has denied having an affair with McDougal. He was indicted a year ago on 34 felony counts of falsifying business records related to the Daniels hush money payments. He's pleaded not guilty. Cohen, Daniels, and McDougal are among those expected to be on the witness list for this trial. How credible a witness would Daniels be?
She seems like she would make a very good witness. If I were trying the case, I'd be happy to put her on the stand. What really helps the prosecution here is what she is talking about is all corroborated in the documents.
The trial is scheduled to begin Monday with jury selection. Potential jurors will be asked 42 questions, including their feelings about Donald Trump, whether they ever participated in a rally for or against Trump, and whether they can be fair and impartial. But they won't be asked what party they belong to or who they voted for. Brian Todd, CNN, Washington.
Bernarda Villanona is a criminal defense attorney and former New York prosecutor. She joins us from New York. Thank you so much for joining us. In terms of the history of this moment, just explain why it's important, not just for America, but interesting for the rest of the world as well.
Well, it's definitely interesting, and it's also a moment in time, a moment in history, something that we're going to be talking about years from now, hundreds of years from now, and discuss all around the world, is that you've never seen a former president, one, charged with a crime and actually sit doing a jury trial, a criminal jury trial, and also being attacked for activities that they did before the presidential campaign and while they were in office. So it's definitely something for us to see. There is no landmark case to look at to get some guidance of how to deal with this type of criminal behavior or how to handle a case like this.
If he's found guilty, it won't actually make any difference, will it? Of course it will in terms of the debate, but technically in terms of him running for president, it doesn't stop him getting there.
So if Donald Trump were to be found guilty of these New York criminal charges, he would still be eligible to run for president. He may not be eligible to vote, though, because the charges are felony charges, he can lose his right to vote. But unfortunately, he would still be eligible to run for president.
In terms of the repercussions then for the election, he will He'll be expected to be in court every day, won't he? And we've seen in the past how he does use these moments for political gain as well.
Absolutely. Unlike civil matters, Donald Trump wasn't required to be in court during his civil trial, having to deal with the New York Attorney General, or the one with the sexual assault, having to deal with E. Jean Carroll. But in a criminal trial, he is required to be present every day of the court proceedings. Supposedly, the schedule is going to be Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, and Friday. So he will have Wednesdays off, and as well as the weekends off. But we also know that Donald Trump has been using his criminal matters as a way of him campaigning, as a way of him getting political contributions. So he'll be performing double duties while on trial.
I mean, we'll be watching his facial expressions, won't we, and his reactions. But how many opportunities will he actually have to speak?
Well, he'll have an opportunity, one at the point at trial, if he decides to testify, because only Donald Trump alone can make that decision as to whether he wants to testify. And let's just be clear, with a criminal jury trial, with jurors in that courtroom, they are going to be watching every single move that he makes. He's not going to be allowed to do those outbursts that he's been doing at other trials when he was present, because he risked the chance of being held in contempt, but also the jury making decisions based on his outbursts. So that's not going to be stand for inside of a courtroom, but he'll be able to talk outside of the courtroom, of course. But he has to remember, anything he says can be used against him in that courtroom. So hopefully his attorneys can find a way to muzzle Donald Trump so it won't affect his criminal trial as much as it has already done.